Hey, welcome to this video where we'll go over how I installed Windows in my cargo trailer conversion. We'll kind of take a look at basically how I cut the cross members, how I welded in the frame, and how I marked and cut the hole for the windows. This overall process is one that's not for the lighthearted. Many people will go ahead and purchase their windows and have them installed by the factory. I chose not to do that because I'd rather do it myself, and I do save about half doing it. But again, this is something where you're cutting a big hole in the side. You need to be sure of what you're doing and making sure you measure twice and only cut once. Hard to recover from this if you mess it up. Okay, so let's go do it. Okay, at this point I'm ready to cut the vertical stud there, or cross member, as I've said before. At this point though, really I've went through and I've already measured where I want to cut. The windows are 30 by 20, so and the studs are 16 inches on center, so that middle one there is I got to cut it out, and then I have to lay in two pieces, one on the bottom, one up top, and weld it in, which will make the frame. So anyway, one of the things to note there as I'm cutting, I put a piece of steel behind where I'm cutting. If I was to slip off with that cutoff tool, I'd go right through that 40 thousandths aluminum. So that's one of the things you want to make sure you do when you're cutting here, is that you've got a piece of metal or something standing off that stud from the outside aluminum, because you will cut through that if you even touch it with that. It's just that sharp, and it's cutting that quick. In any case, so just be careful with the saw. Okay, at this point I have the stud out, so what I'm doing is I'm cutting two equal length cross members that I'll weld in between the two studs and on top of the cut verticals there. And when I get all done with that, that will actually be the frame for the window. So anyway, let me get these things cut and we'll put them in. Alright, now let's weld these up right here, and I'm going to do the one on top. That'll be the most of the frame. I'll get the level in here and level this off. Okay, yeah, I did have to go get some long sleeve shirts on, long sleeve shirt rather, and some long pants and stuff. You obviously don't want, when you're welding these this hot metal hitting your skin and burning it. You probably noticed by now I've cut out a lot of video here. You didn't need to see me make all the welds or cut all the studs, but you kind of get the idea what's going on. Obviously I had to do this top and bottom on both sides to get both windows in, but this is just kind of showing you a brief clip here and there of what I had to go through to get these windows in. Good deal. Okay, at this point I got all the welding done, and I'm just going in now with the grinder and grinding off all the welds and just cleaning them up, making them smoother. Still a rookie welder here, so it helps just to grind off some of the splatter and stuff that I've done. But hey, the welds are good. They're going to hold, not a problem. But gotta grind all that off. I'm going to have to sand it anyway, because I will go back and paint all this bare metal on this frame here. I think you'll see later, I insulate before I come back and actually cut all this out. So it's a multi-step process here. In any case, grinding's no fun, so I'm going to cut the rest of that out. Okay, well, I'm pretty much done with framing the windows in. You can see that I got the bars across. I had to put 2 3/8-inch pieces right here. There wasn't even big enough to weld a piece in, but it needed to fill that gap, so that's what I just used. Literally just liquid nail those on. Had it all pulled together with the window. But yeah, I got this side done as well. Yeah, so I think it looks pretty good. I think I got the hardest part done at this point. What I got to do next is drill 4 little holes and transfer these to the outside so I can tape it all off. I'll kind of show you how I do that in a moment. But yeah, at this point now it's just cut out the windows and put the windows in. Cut out the holes for the windows and put the windows in rather. So here we go. Okay, I'm fixing to cut the hole out for the window, And you can see here that I, from previously that I welded this frame in before I insulated, and I put the corner pieces in. But I don't know if you can see the light coming through there, but on each one of these you see a hole. What I did was I drilled a small hole at the beginning of each one of these curves. Okay, and so then what I do is I use that on the outside. I go on the outside and I just transfer between the two top ones. Straight line between those two. Straight line between the two on the bottom, straight there. So that's your transfer to the outside. So what I do then is I go out there and I tape those off, and then I get the window itself, the actual. Let me show you here. I get this part here, and I use that part to put between those lines and transfer that corner curve in. So you can see how that's done. So anyway, let's stop it here. I'm gonna go outside and show you what it looks like taped off, and then we'll cut it out. But I think it's about as good as I can do it. This is the part I hate though. Already drilled holes and cutting this out. There's no going back. Okay, so you can see on the outside here, you can see the holes that I had drilled, and I just run the tape straight down between them. And then I take one of those markers and get the corners in and got it all taped off. So that's it. So the tape does two things. It's the inside of the tape line there is the guide to cut, but the other part is that saw is running across the surface. You're not scratching the paint. The saw I have is pretty good. It probably wouldn't do that, but sometimes there's metal on metal and you don't want that scratching. But anyway, this is the big moment. I'm gonna go get the saw and cut that hole. Yeah, I got my pilot hole started here, so I'm gonna start the cutting. Put the saw in here and do some cutting. As I mentioned, I did cut quite a bit of video out of here as I was cutting, but I don't know if you noticed, but one of the things you do when you're cutting this out is you leave some metal in the four corners, and that'll be the last thing you cut off. You don't want to, you see on the right corner there, that metal flopping around, I cut that before I realized what I did. But you want to leave the metal in the corners and just cut little pieces of metal off at the last part in each of the corners so it falls in. Otherwise, you get a big piece of metal vibrating and flapping around, making a lot of noise. Also, highly recommend wearing ear protection on this. It's very loud with that saw on the metal. That's it. Hope that fits. All right, a little tight on this one side. I probably got a little bit of aluminum to trim there. But at this point, I'm done. I got to go inside and secure it so it doesn't fall back out this way. So I'll do both windows like that. Put some temporary things on the trim ring holders, hold them in while I then put the siding up, and I can trace the siding on the inside and cut it out, and then put the final trim ring on. Well, you can see the holes cut, and I think we're there. Looks pretty good. All right, I'm trying to keep these videos under 10 minutes, so I'm going to cut this one off here. Please like and subscribe, and come back soon. The next video is actually going to be a walk around of the progress I've made to date. I've got a lot of work done. I'm pretty much done with the outside, and I'm going to be going inside and building walls and putting in all the infrastructure inside. So yeah, please like and subscribe and hit alerts, and you'll see when that next one comes up. Thank you very much for watching the video.